psychedelic trials are usually unprecedented in their lives. These drugs are not a walk in the park. They are powerful substances that occasion powerful experiences.
I think it's really important to have specialist-trained therapists working with psychedelics because it is quite a unique field. When you're working with people that have really profound mental health symptoms, safety is just paramount.
The clinical trials that have been done overseas have attracted a huge amount of scientific, medical and community interest. There is still a huge amount of work to do before we can start advocating for these agents to be used more generally in the community as treatments for disorders such as major depression.
We know quite a bit with quite a high confidence about how these compounds work in the brain at the molecular level. What we actually don't know much, and that's what we are trying to do in our lab and in our experiments, is to understand how they work at the level of brain regions and brain networks.
I'm the head of clinical psychedelic research at Monash. I'm initially leading two groundbreaking trials. The first one is psilocybin-assisted psychotherapy in the treatment of generalized anxiety disorder. Psilocybin is the active ingredient in magic mushrooms.
This will be a world-first study. No one's looked at psilocybin in generalized anxiety disorder before. This is a major debilitating psychiatric illness for which we have really relatively ineffective treatments for a large proportion of the population.
The psilocybin trial at Monash is by far the largest trial in Australia, and indeed it is among the large trials in the modern era globally. We're also testing MDMA-assisted psychotherapy in the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder. MDMA is commonly known as ecstasy. This trial is in partnership with our colleagues, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies in the United States. And MAPS is an organization that is leading the charge globally with respect to MDMA treatment. Another motivation for this trial is that we have recruited a large group of experienced and qualified mental health care workers, from psychiatrists through to psychologists and psychotherapists. And this group of professionals has received training from MAPS in the United States, and indeed they will receive clinical supervision from MAPS through the duration of the trial. After that process, they can be accredited by MAPS. This is significant because MAPS is set to be the first organization in the world to take a psychedelic drug to market.
For us then to undertake clinical trials at Monash using these agents, we have an extraordinarily rigorous and robust process through which we select patients, and then we screen and screen again and screen again before people can be enrolled.
Creating the right conditions for somebody to have a psychedelic experience can really impact the journey that somebody goes on in a dosing session.
When someone takes one of these substances, they move into a state that can be initially quite anxiety-provoking. In that space, a sense of safety is profoundly important. We have two therapists working with the participant, people who have spent, firstly, a long time training to be able to do this, but secondly, a long time with this particular participant, getting to know them, getting to know their particular anxieties, building a deep sense of trust and safety with that person.
We had very rigorous protocols around safety. I'm leading a trial in which healthy the participants will be given psilocybin. There will be 2 facilitators who are experienced and who have been trained. They will be supporting the participant through their experiment. Once the psilocybin is ingested, after 60 minutes,